We don't have a volunteer for tonight, so sometimes when that happens, I look back on the library website and I dusted off a couple of old historic minutes about the history of Summit as interpreted by some of our former high school students. So the first one's about the township of Summit, and the second one is about the city of Summit. So, and I'll cut some of the redundancies, but this first one is by Josie Coates, who was a Summit High School student, April 3rd, 2018. Summit has a history of independence, and its story of becoming a township provides a lesson in the strong will and keen foresight of a few select people. Springfield, Summit, and New Providence were part of a larger area consisting of 500,000 acres, purchased from the Lenape Indians in 1644 and named Elizabethtown after England's Queen Elizabeth. In 1793, Springfield Township, which included New Providence at the time, was known as Turkey Hill, as Turkey, and Summit was known as Turkey Hill, separated from Elizabethtown. In 1809, New Providence and Turkey Hill separated from Springfield, but Turkey Hill operated politically under New Providence Township. By the late 1860s, Summit Township was growing increasingly irritated at New Providence Township's lack of care for Summit. Another reason for Summit's increase in demand for independence was its growing economy due to the railroad coming in 1873. Thanks to a local sawmill owner, Jonathan Crane Bonnell, who had offered land at no charge to the Essex and Morris and Essex Railroad to build the rails through Summit. Because of the railroad, Summit began to shift from a largely farming economy to a capitalist resort for the wealthy. Another notable person in Summit's history is G.J. Tibbett, a New York lawyer and resident of Summit, who not only rallied residents to seek independence from New Providence, but secured the introduction of the bill to the New Jersey House and Senate. As the bill was being passed through the House and Senate, he found a clause that had been slipped into the bill, requiring a vote of the people in each township, which surely meant defeat for the people of Summit. Thebed alerted the governor to this, and the governor demanded the bill be returned to its original form, which was easily passed as the act to form Summit Township, and was approved March 23rd, 1869. Fast forward 30 years, and this one's by Caroline Wohl from 2015. Summit was incorporated as a city at a special charter election on April 11th, 1899 by a vote of the township's electorate, 804 to 163. This step followed approval of the New Jersey legislature to grant it city status. Despite a 5-to-1 voting margin, this was not easy to do. Summit became a township in 1869 and was governed by a 3-man committee dominated by Democrats. The reason for the change to a city form of government was the township was getting too large. 1899 population was over 5,000. For 3 people to handle its affairs, and the committee did not have sufficient powers. Republicans, led by one of Summit's best-known residents, again, Jonathan Bonnell, were pushing the city plan, and the Democrats dominating township government were generally opposed. William Larned, that's a familiar name, was a key figure in these discussions, as he was in many other aspects of Summit's history, as the first president of Summit Bank. He chaired a committee in late 1898 to explore the best way to change the form of government. He concluded that the change should be from a township to a city. Larned suggested when one has grown to a man's size, he can no longer wear child's clothes. And it is the same with a town. When it has grown to the population of a city, its township clothing was outgrown. In the weeks leading to the election, there were vigorous debates, compromises, shifts in opinions, and votes. Eventually, there was strong support for the change. The April election introduced the first mayor of the city, George H. Wilcox, a Republican, and the new 7-man Common Council representing 5 Republicans and 2 Democrats. 3 representatives were from each of the 2 wards, and 1 at large, Charles Day, was elected the council president. The new government wasted no time, and we've heard this before in the Tammy Baldwin historicals. A few days after the vote, the first Common Council adopted the first ordinance providing the mayor and council would serve without pay, an ordinance that still stands today, which is rare in municipalities. Is it really? Okay. Other early actions included matters that are somewhat entertaining from today's perspective. At its meeting in May 1899, appropriations for the ensuing year were approved and included $1,500 for fire, $500 for health, $4,000 for police, $5,000 general city expenses, $18,500 for roads, lights, and water, $1,000 for the poor, totaling $32,200. In June, the council adopted an ordinance to prevent vice and immorality, to possess public peace and good order in the city of Summit. In early 1900, an ordinance establishing the speed limit of, anybody want to guess? 7 miles per hour for autos in the city.